You are watching DuBoisNow. Talk about community affairs and government happenings in the city of DuBois, Pennsylvania. This video is produced and underwritten for DuBois TV by the Kinetic of downtown DuBois. Of course.
Get into the Kinetic, and we'll teach you the art of digital media production and help you create your own TV show. Or, if you're a business, partner with us and help us to continue lighting up your community through the power of digital media.
Are you looking for a unique advertising opportunity for your business? Scared of the high cost of reaching new customers? Thanks to DuBois TV working with us, we've had fresh talent come in and create various forms of TV shows just for you. Shows that are entertaining, technical, and above all, educational. Even more so is that our shows are fun and exciting for people of all ages. So come on, check out DuBoisTV.net with original content filmed and produced here at the Kinetic. Sponsor our TV shows and you can be seen on YouTube, Facebook, even during live webcasts, and be loved by people from all over. What are you waiting for? Sponsor a show today and you'll become a hero. Join the digital revolution with DuBois TV and the Kinetic. Minds in motion.
Additional underwriting support for this broadcast was provided by our friends at Latinos and Company of downtown DuBois. Latinos and Company Mexican Restaurant offers an extensive menu of authentic, freshly made Mexican food served up in a unique and historic, beautiful downtown DuBois building. Visit us for some exciting signature specialty dishes that you just won't find anywhere else. To learn more, call 814-371-8627. Latinos and Company is proud to sponsor DuBois TV, as well as other community organizations. Thanks to Latinos and Company for their support. And now, here is the premiere episode of DuBois Now. Hello and welcome to DuBois Now. I'm Sam Otero, and this is our premier effort at, educating and activating our community with the power of digital media through our new education and government channel on Comcast Cable Channel 19, DuBoisTV.net. Today we are going to be discussing, community access television. What exactly is a PEG channel? How is DuBois utilizing the new education and government channel to light up the community and advance the arts, advance economic development, advance the concept of open government? Well, our special guests today are going to tell us all about it. Mr. Herm Suplizio, many of you know Herm as our city manager here in DuBois, Pennsylvania, and Bob Wachob, acting station manager for DuBois TV and technology coordinator and computer network engineering instructor at Jefferson County DuBois AVTS, we all know as Jeff Tech. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bob, let's go ahead and start with you. We talked about the educational aspect of this. We're all about education in education, and Herm's here to talk about the government side of it. We're not a public access TV station though. Let's educate our viewers as to what is a PEG channel and what is the Comcast Cable Channel 19. How did we set this up and why? So let's start with telling us about PEG channels.
Well, I think we'll do a little history. I'm not the only one who wears two hats here. You are also a coworker of mine at Jeff Tech, digital media instructor. And years ago, even before
That's where I wear my tinfoil.
That's where you wear your tinfoil hat, yes. Years ago, when before you even were an instructor there, Jeff Tech was promoting career in tech ed. We had a television show called Futures Fast Forward. And we were looking for ways to get our television show out onto the air, and you put me on the scent of PEG channels.
That was, 9 years ago?
It was a long time ago.
Yes,
it was a lot of planning went into this, without a doubt. When I found out what they were, obviously we went down that path of educating ourselves as to how we get one. PEG stands for Public, Education, and Government. And what that means is that any municipality who has an agreement with a cable company can, at their request, write in the ability to have a PEG, public or education or government channel available to them on that cable company. Municipalities are the only ones who can do it. the request has to come from them, and they, quite frankly, own the station. Now, when you and I decided to go down this trail, I approached Herm, have known Herm for a good many years, and threw the idea out at him. We obviously attacked it from the education standpoint at first. That idea has grown a lot since then. And then through Herm, we approached Comcast and requested that in Herm's next contract with Comcast,
The next city contract.
that they allow for us to have an EG channel. And the reason we do that, PEG, the public part,
Well, we would know as public access.
what we would know as
it
public
stands for,
access. That's where anybody who wants to be on TV can come into a studio and put on a show. E, the education part, is for schools to use, and of course G, the government, is for the government institutions. We felt that it was in DuBois's best interest, especially since we were trying to involve the schools and government, that we leave off the P part. DuBois TV is not a public television station. It is an education and government station.
But yet, and we should clarify this, but yet we do see content on here that is not of government and not of education in nature. Maybe we are working with economic development. Maybe we're working with advancing the arts. You know, we have a feature we're going to be putting up there about the art walk coming up. How does that tie into the education and government channel, just so people understand? Maybe they're sitting out there thinking, I want to do a TV show, but I'm not an educator and I'm not in government. So,
well, I think it's important to understand that education doesn't always come from school, and government doesn't necessarily mean council meetings. Economic development, anything that we do on DuBois TV that promotes economic development, is government.
it should be a function.
It is a function
right.
of government. Anything that we do with an organization like The Kinetic that produces a show that educates and informs is education.
So tourism development, bringing people downtown for a vibrant downtown nightlife. These are all things that are important, and we're going to be talking about that coming into the summer months. We were just discussing this show is actually the pilot episode of a new venture, and we're hoping that Mr. Suplizio here takes over the hosting duties and gets this rolling for the city. And Herm, tell us a little bit about your vision for where this show may go from here. Bob, you were just talking beforehand how we may be able to talk a little bit about community days the next episode.
That's where we want to go with
Yeah.
it. I think on the city aspect, we want to show the people that, maybe can flip on the channel, turn it on, and maybe we do once a week, once a month, maybe just to start with and see how far it can go, and then maybe go into once a week. But let the people know what's going on in our community. Not only the city of DuBois, but the whole area, the surrounding areas. And my hat's off first to Bob when Bob brought this to me. I'm not.
He thought it was nuts.
We sort of laughed about it. I'm not on the PEG. I'm like, PEG, what the heck does that even mean? So on that end of it, but it is something good. Something that we can educate, our community, obviously, but on the government end, let them know what's going on in our community.
Sure.
You're right. We're gearing up, behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know it. We're gearing up for another community days, which is a vibrant part of our of the city of DuBois. But not only that, there's a lot of things that go on here in the city of DuBois, and we want people to know about it, know maybe what happens, how we get to that point. A lot of times people just see what happens, but it's a year-long event that's put on a year long. Same way with the arts festival, things like that are going on. And we want to tell people what's going on, and go even a little bit further, bring our police department in, let people know what our police department's up to, and do an interview with our police chief, our fire department, what's going on with our fire department. Just alone, look what the winter did to our community, what the winter did to our roads and our water lines and things like that, and educate the people that, the roads are bad out there, but but it takes money to fix those roads, and maybe explain to people what's going on. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's
absolutely.
Just really the very small portion of it. But we want to try to keep people informed and be part of the community and let them know what's going on.
Do you see a day that we will be able to have some cameras in the boardrooms of city council and bring official meetings like other cities are doing and broadcasting official government proceedings. You see that happening?
Absolutely. I think when Bob and I sat down and first talked, I think that was a vision that he had, and that I wanted to see. When we talked about it, everybody can't get, it's a snowy day. So everybody can come to the council meeting. Well, at least they can turn on a channel and we can replay it or something. So it will be nice eventually to get to live. But even if we play it the next day, at least they can see what's going on there, because we don't get a lot of people coming to the council meetings.
Sure.
And there's a lot of important things that happen. And I think people need to see that. And keep
in mind, it's not just the city of DuBois. This is a regional TV station. This covers the entire Comcast region of Punxsutawney and DuBois, and all of their surrounding municipalities. There are 11,000 households who receive this channel through Comcast, not to mention the thousands of people who can get it online at DuBoisTV.net. So I think Herm and I both recognized when we did this, it wasn't just DuBois schools. It's not just DuBois City. We see that economic growth and the development of any community is not an island. You certainly have to cooperate and promote your neighbors and work together. So I think people need to keep that in mind too, that this will and is going to be a regional TV station.
Yeah. We're a firm believer, I think, anymore. And, the city of DuBois does want to be the leader of it, but we understand that it's just not, as Bob just said, it's not just the city of DuBois. It's got to be the entire area. And us working alone, or any individual community out there working alone, or individuals working alone, is really a thing of the past. We need everybody working together to strive to get to a certain point. And I think DuBois is already on the map. I think we have a lot of good things going on here. I think we just need to let the people know what's going on, and the people here that live here, let them know what's going on too.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see the response coming from the government entity here in DuBois. I know, Bob, we talked about my history in this, and really what got me turned on to the PEG channel was my political background that I was involved with before, and being in a small town where I was at on local council, there was some resistance there. People not wanting cameras in there. And that's why we have sunshine laws in Pennsylvania. This is why cable access came about originally in the first place, was about empowering communities to be, and encouraging government to be open, and empowering the people in the community to really know what's going on, and having an educational outlet there. So it's wonderful to see that. And my hat's off to you as a city leader, taking that approach to this and opening the doors and saying, because let's face it, that's what we're in government for.
And you're right, and I could honestly say, being past mayor before, being the city manager now, and giving credit to the council that's in there now.
Absolutely.
We got to give some credit to them. Our city solicitor, our city controller. We got to give credit to all these people, because this government that's in there now is not really a, closed door type of government.
Well, they supported it, they voted for it, and that's how it got enacted.
That's exactly right.
Let's talk about that process a little bit, Bob. I think that, somebody watching this may at some point sit there and go, wow, this is kind of cool. They're doing this in Little DuBois, Pennsylvania. Maybe you could utilize this in your community. So, you look into the camera there and you see somebody sitting out there at home and going, or watching this on DuBoisTV.net and going, I want to do, how do you get started? We started investigating this years ago,
yes.
But the process of actually getting it through the city really wasn't that arduous, was it?
Tell us how hard it was, Herm?
I don't think it was hard at all.
Well, what did we need to do to get it to that point first off? So somebody out there, to make this happen in their municipality, Bob, where do you go once you know what you want to do? How did you guys put this together and make it happen?
Well, I think the first thing that we want to address for our municipalities is to realize that when they're negotiating with Zito Media or Comcast, they don't realize that there's a lot they can ask for. They're so used to these companies coming in and saying, here's what we're going to give you, and they think, oh, that's a sweet deal, and they sign the contract.
Right. Usually it's just
they don't know that they
chump
change, and they don't know that they have some rights. So really, the first thing that you do is when your contract comes up with your cable company and your municipality, you write in the ability to do this. You simply put into the contract that you have the right to request public education and or government channel, and many times you can actually write in funds
that'll help supplement.
That can help supplement the cost of starting
And
that
if
channel.
I remember correctly, I believe that Comcast actually gave you a little bit of money as a grant to purchase the equipment that was necessary at the front end, correct?
That's correct.
That's great. Okay.
I think even before that, and I want to just maybe go back just a little bit, just so everybody, it took really Bob, coming to me, having the vision, and maybe it was the two of you knew a little bit about this before I ever got involved.
Oh, sure.
But Bob and I worked on numerous things throughout the community, community days, the parade, things like that. So we had that working relationship. So so it started back then, and we had that working relationship. But he had the mindset to bring it forth, make sure that it was in the contract. I probably would have not known to do that, So to any of those communities out there that are looking to do something like that, just take a step back before you sign that contract and make sure that's written in there.
And what's difficult is that many times these municipalities do contracts for 10 years. So
they're a long time.
I mean, you and I have been talking about this for 8 years, but it took that long to simply get it onto Herm's agenda so that the next time the contract came up, we could have it written in.
Right.
But even beyond a television station, many municipalities don't realize they can get free cable for their fire departments. They could get internet for their township building.
Absolutely.
And they the PEG channel is just the tip of the iceberg of things that they could be asking for their local municipalities.
And we should stress, too, that this is a federal mandate. That this is an act of Congress, the Cable Act. I believe it was 1999, I think is what it was. That established this right for local municipalities to be able to claim that local PEG channel. So, as you say, Bob, it's just all about education and finding out what it is that you want to do. And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Correct. That's probably the biggest thing right there.
Have a vision, make it happen.
Yep.
Now let's talk about what's happening here in DuBois, because we know there's a lot going on in the community, massive growth. Arts, tourism, economic development, things are happening here, and there's really a lot to be proud of in this little community. We're taking, with the station though, we're taking a little bit of a different model. Now, I was down in Asheville, North Carolina several years ago taking a vacation, and they have an incredible public and government education channel complex down there. They've got a big TV station. They've got their own building. They're writing grants. They're funded. They've got technicians. We're sitting here in an old, a revamped tattoo studio. Right, you can hear the Harleys going down on Long Avenue, right across from the library.
Brady Street, excuse me.
On Brady Street, right across the street from the library. You hear the Harleys and the tractor trailers going by, trying to make something happen for our community. Very different model. Why did we? The approach that we're taking here is to empower independent media producers to get content up on TV, not having a centralized building. So DuBois TV, let's clarify this. DuBois TV does not have a brick and mortar studio. It's more virtual, really.
Yeah.
Explain Jeff Tech's part in this, Bob, if you would, so people understand how it works, why there is not a studio, where content is coming from, and how they can get engaged at home or in their business place, wherever, to be able to put together content for DuBois TV. That's real important, and I want to make sure we hammer this point home before we end the show.
Yeah, and it definitely is important because most municipalities shy away from doing anything like we've done because they feel that it's too expensive, because they think that they're going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars for brick and mortar studios. Our model is nothing like that. Even Comcast has never seen a model like this before, and what we managed to pull off for a very little amount of money. Our philosophy is simple. It's an education government channel. We have Jeff Tech with a tremendous digital media program. We have the DuBois High School, which does a very nice job over there with digital media. The business college is in our community. So they have a film program. So our concept was that we don't need a brick and mortar, we don't need a studio. We'll let the content come from the community. So from an education standpoint, we are well positioned to receive content and to promote our local schools, and that's happening right now. If you're watching the station at all, Jeff Tech and DuBois High School, Central Catholic, they have all been contributing great content to the channel and really making it interesting. But then we also looked at the aspect, well, what about the community part of it? Where do we get that from? And That concept is to take local videographers, people who are into business like yourself at the Kinetic, and I know there are many more, at least a few more out there in the community, and offer them the ability to create and tape community service events.
Right.
And we will give them the authority to go out and attract underwriter dollars from local sponsors to help offset the cost of producing those shows.
So those money now, I know the model
because you do it.
We've been doing this. We've published 6 full half-hour and some longer television shows focusing on arts, education, personal wellness, and the model has worked. We were able to go out into the community, get business support. They buy underwriting advertisements in like local public television.
Right, exactly.
This underwriting for this project was provided by our friends at, and then you see a TV commercial.
Exactly.
So that business model has enabled me here at the Kinetic to keep the lights on and to continue doing business serving my community. The point to remember is the Kinetic is not DuBois TV. When you watch something from Jeff Tech, digital media is not DuBois TV. When you see something happening at DuBois Business College is not DuBois TV. It is a community resource. So you out there at home, you, if you have an inclination to start your own television show, you can take the model that we've established, work with Bob, work with the folks at the city, and establish a television show. Now, ultimately, we should say that the city has control over the content.
Exactly.
So we shouldn't say that, don't think that you can this isn't public access, so it has to fit within some certain parameters.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yep.
So let's talk about some of those parameters. Independent producers want to put something up on TV like we've done. What are the parameters? What are the guidelines, Bob?
Well, first of all, it has to be informative, educational benefit to the community. Okay. Just because everybody out there is aware of this show, you can't come to the city and say that you want to do a DuBois version of Jackass. There's no value to that to our community.
Right.
You can, however, go out and find a sponsor who maybe wants to promote a cooking show, which, of course, the concept of a cooking show is strictly educational.
Health and wellness.
The show can't be strictly about a business, but it has to be about the concept of cooking. A restaurant could sponsor that show and underwrite it, but the show itself has to be of an educational nature.
Okay.
You may have a company that sells makeup that wants to sponsor a beauty and wellness type show.
Right.
So,
or even maybe take a spin on it like an extreme makeover type version.
Yes.
Locally brought to you by that business. But I think the key to remember here is that whatever people are putting out, it cannot come across or look like an infomercial for a business.
But it's not just that, though. There's also community events. Community days is coming up.
That's right.
The people who run community days don't have time to run around with video cameras taping the event itself. But there may be videographers out there who would like to approach the city and the community days people and perhaps go out and find a couple underwriters and actually do a nice little show on community days. Or the DuBois Firemen's Parade.
Or we talked about the city council meetings.
Or the council meetings.
A high school student could come to the city and say, I want to work with the city to broadcast every city council meeting. Mom, I've got Joe's Schmo's Pizza Shop and such fire company that are going to pay me $200 a month to do this service for the community, and I want to make that happen. And they could go into partnership with you to make that happen.
And I think that's
incredible.
That's where we want to get to. We hope eventually
powering entrepreneurship.
Yep. Hopefully we can get to that point. And it also what it also does is it informs the people that can't make those type of meetings, whether it be a council meeting, a township meeting, a school board meeting.
Oh, wow.
Any of those type of things. Something that maybe we're having a public meeting at the middle school for whatever reason, on gas drilling or something like that. People can't make that. At least maybe we can broadcast that over this channel.
So let's summarize here. DuBois TV is available for quality educational content that is advancing the function and the purpose of government, which is community growth, education, wellness overall, We want to see happy, healthy people. We want to see entrepreneurship grow. We want to see the use of technology grow.
Want to promote education.
Promote education, and especially involving young people. Bob, we had talked about we're going to do a digital media youth camp here at the Kinetic for free. Kids can come in and learn about our studio. How do we make this TV show? Get young people to come in here and make their own TV shows like we're talking about. Or maybe right now you've got a video company and you're out making wedding videos and you want to stretch your creativity and make your own TV show and go get sponsors and pay yourself for it. You have that ability to do so. My hat's off to you, gentlemen.
Well, and a TV show might be a little bit to bite off at first, but go record a public event.
Right.
I mean,
how many people would watch a wrestling match or
Exactly.
a high school football
Exactly
game?
right,
My goodness.
Yes.
There's some real opportunity there.
You know, we have concerts in the park coming up again this summer to find somebody who would be interested in taping those concerts so that older people in our community who can't get down to the park could enjoy those.
Or we're down there and want to watch it again.
Well, we just had Senator Scarnati in town through the chamber. You know, wouldn't that have been nice to have somebody sitting there with a camera recording that and bringing that to the community and bringing that to the public?
Yep.
So we need to get these partnerships going and to get groups that are in economic development to use these technologies and allow young people the opportunity to exercise their creativity to serve the community.
Absolutely.
So,
and on that note,
yes,
you can't do all of that without money.
Well, this model.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
This model empowers people to go out there. I
but
like the entrepreneurial aspect of this because it's not relying on government to do it for me. It's saying to the people, the government has set up we've built the Ferrari. Let's get in and take a drive. But it's up to you to learn how to drive, and you got to step on the gas, and you got to take ownership of it. I like that model.
We also have the model where the station itself has underwriter opportunities and marketing opportunities. So
Explain that a little bit.
Well, you know, as an education government channel, by rights, we don't actually have advertising.
We have underwriting.
We have underwriting.
Explain the difference.
Basic underwriting is delivering a message that says that a company has supported the channel and with an underwriter sponsorship, and it's still for the benefit of the company to get their name out and to show that they are community minded and helping promote the community.
And they do get a commercial.
They do get a commercial.
But there's guidelines.
There's guidelines. You're not allowed to do pricing.
You can't have a call to action.
It's not supposed to be a call to action. Yeah, you know, you can't say that you're the best. Those types of things, but still a tremendous opportunity at an unbelievably low cost for underwriting.
And the producer pays the station a small fee to air the shows.
That's another form of income for us, yes.
Now, there's another form of income. We see DuFast is going, anybody watching, okay, we talked a lot about producers, but if you're out there and you're a business owner and you want to support DuBois TV, there are underwriting opportunities where you can underwrite the entire station, not just a particular show.
Correct.
So we have DuFast as a major sponsor. Let's talk about that. Where does that money go, Bob? How do you envision the city using it, Herm? And what opportunities are there for businesses to underwrite the whole station?
Well, first of all, the money is used to help offset some of the operating costs for the station. It is our goal that as we pull in more underwriters and more revenue, that the station itself can actually then start to hire and pay local people to go out and do some of these shows as well. So we're not developing just one model. There's multiple models here. So you know, if a company says, I want to be involved, I'd like to sponsor DuBoisNow, this great new show that Herm's going to be hosting, but they don't know who to contact about that, well, you can contact us. Because we can match you up with underwriters, or we can take underwriter dollars ourselves onto the station and then use that money to pay local people to help produce the show. So, you know, the more money that you can generate in as many different directions as possible, the more flexibility I think that you can have.
Good answer.
Money needs to go right back. The money that is accumulated needs to go back into the station.
Yes.
To build the station to make it better, bigger and better than it is, and that's a vision that we hopefully see down the road.
Yeah, I think
we're
that's
starting off
important.
small. We're starting off slow. I think everyone knows that. And,
I'll challenge you on that, though. I don't think what we're doing is small or slow at all. I think it is unbelievable what we're doing, frankly. And I would say I've been all over this country. I've lived in a lot of different places. I'm telling you, And this is incredibly daring and for this area, very progressive. And I'm telling
That's what
you,
we like to hear.
It is.
Good,
it
that's
is.
the way
It is phenomenal what you guys
I actually
are doing.
had a
It
long
really
conversation with the lady who manages the Center County Public Station.
They're doing great things over there.
They've been up for 30-some years and have a great system over there. And she, quite frankly, was just blown away by what we've accomplished and how little money we've done it or used to do it. And the fact that we've got locally produced shows that are up on the air, what the schools have contributed. And she's just blown away. And we've only been up for 8 months?
Yeah, not long ago.
And that's the power of the, I preach this to my kids at school all the time. That's the power of digital media. When you look at this studio, you see this show and it looks all high tech and it looks so cool. If you come down to the Kinetic, you'd be shocked at how small it is. I teach high school. I don't have money coming out my ears, but I was able to afford to do this because the technology today is so much smaller, so much faster, so much less expensive. Bob, if you remember 8 years ago when we were looking at this, the basic system to get something up and running to be able to do what we did now for under $7,000 was well over $50,000. In that short period of time, the technology has come so far. You can literally, and we're going to do workshops on this, for under $5,000, even a couple grand, you could set up a little mini studio like we have here at the Kinetic in an extra bedroom of your house and broadcast. We don't want to see Wayne's World out there, granted, but you can broadcast quality programming for an unbelievably low price.
Yep. And you got a lot of really talented kids out there doing YouTube videos right now, and to those kids, stretch your imagination. And, not just little YouTube clips. Think about going a little further with it.
Absolutely.
And having it on not only YouTube as an actual television show, but on local television as well.
Absolutely. So anybody watching, I hope you're getting inspired by this. And we'd love to hear from you, how you're putting the power of digital media and the PEG channel to work for your community. Parting words here, gentlemen. We're getting into the very busy season, tourism season, a lot of outdoors things happening from the city standpoint. Herm, what do you want to see on DuBois TV?
I think I'll go back even one step further. What we want to see from people is watch it.
Use it first off, right? Exactly.
Use it and give us your feedback.
Yeah. And I should say, it's not. This is really cool. It's not just on Comcast Cable Channel 19, Bob. It's also available
YouTube. It's also streamed 24 hours a day at DuBoisTV.net.
Excellent.
We have a very popular Facebook page where we're promoting all the local community events.
Okay.
It's growing.
So we want to use it.
We want to use it. We want to watch it. We want people to watch it, and we want their feedback.
Very good.
And we'll give you tell us what you want, and if we can get it, we'll do the best we can to get it on there. And we will, we want to try to do this show, hopefully where I can, bring in some people, and we let people know what's going on in the community.
That's great.
The bottom line is use it, watch it. Let's get your feedback on it.
Absolutely. Bob, parting words?
Well, and I think what we need to say to the community is don't poo-poo it. I think a lot of times when people go out and do some innovative things, everybody's like, oh, it's not going to be successful. It's not going to make it. What are you trying to prove? No one's watching. How many times do we hear it? No one's watching.
Well, I don't know. But, I don't think people are gonna. Well.
But what's amazing is people are watching. And we're having people say the things that they've seen on there. You had a student from Brookville who was at the DuBois Mall walking down the mall one day, and someone walked up to her and said, I saw you on TV. You look at this, when you look at this, the chances of that happening with the number of people in our community and to be recognized at the DuBois Mall, people have to be watching, or the statistics wouldn't have allowed that to happen.
Well, we do know. I mean, there's no Arbitron for local cable access.
There isn't.
We know that, but the bottom line is we can track hits through. And you know what? Okay, so let's use let's go with the argument that nobody's watching. Well, you know what? If you're in a position of economic development or education or government, then guess what? Make them watch. Tell them about it. Use it, and if you in leadership positions use this wonderful new tool, then those that you are leading will follow suit and they will watch it. So let's activate, get out there, use it, watch it, produce. We're talking about DuBois TV on DuBoisNow, our premiere episode here, and we will be back with the help of you. And if you are interested in sponsoring this wonderful new show and helping Mr. Suplizio keep this thing going and educate the community as to the workings of government serving you, well, contact me at the Kinetic and the folks here at DuBois TV, and hopefully we can put together a package that works for everybody and the benefit of the community and the young people that are learning these amazing technologies. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you coming out today and sharing this wonderful opportunity with our community, and hopefully together we can do incredible things.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.